This message did not come your way by chance, chosen one. It came to you at the perfect moment. You did not just happen across this. God guided you here. There are no mishaps on the road of the chosen. Every delay, detour, and moment of anguish was part of a larger plan that is now unfolding. You are not simply a survivor. You're a walking miracle. The fact that you are still alive, breathing, and rising is proof that God is in control of your life. You were never supposed to blend in because your very existence is proof of the extraordinary. What you overcame should have taken you out, yet it instead pushed you to find meaning. You've been carried through storms that others have drowned in, healed from wounds that should have left you broken, and raised in silence as the world ignores your progress. That is not luck. That's a favor. That is heavenly orchestration. That is God's hand writing His testimony through your life. And now it's time for you to discover who you are, not by worldly standards, but by heaven's decree. Let's divide this into 7 chapters so you may fully grasp the depth of who you are and what you carry. This is not motivation. This is a revelation. Before we delve in, please like, share, and subscribe because this is more than just material. This is confirmation. A divine reminder that you, chosen one, are a walking miracle that nobody saw coming. If this truth speaks to your spirit, leave 77 in the comments section right now. That is not a random number. It's a sacred signal, a code to the highest and the cosmos, indicating that you're not only awake, but also in sync with the wonderful power that's moving through your life. Not everyone will reach the end. Only those who bear the mark of the chosen. But if you stay, you will gain insight. You will generate a greater knowledge. You'll start to view yourself the way heaven always has, a marvel in motion. This is not a one-time message. It's a live word with multiple layers of revelation. Watch it again. Allow it to sink into your spirit. Because with each listen, something dormant within you awakens. You'll notice what your soul may have overlooked the first time. Another key, another confirmation, another sign that you, indeed, are the miracle they never imagined would happen. Let us now delve in. Chapter 1. They thought you were finished, but God was only getting begun. People looked at you and saw someone shattered, lost, and unable to recover. They had no idea how much agony you were carrying. They had no idea what wars you were fighting in quiet. The evenings you cried yourself to sleep. The days when you smiled despite your hurting heart. To them, it seemed like the end. You resembled a chapter that had ended, a dream that has died. But they didn't realize that God was using the pit to prepare you for the palace. While the rest of the world watched you fall, heaven was preparing you to rise. What appeared to be devastation was in fact heavenly construction. You were not being buried, you were being planted. And there is a difference. The buried thing is forgotten, but a planted object is certain to flourish, and chose one. You were purposefully buried deep beneath the surface where no one could see you. God was completing His greatest job. You were intentionally concealed and segregated for a reason, not to punish you, but to safeguard the process, because not everyone is destined to witness precious times of transition. Not everyone can be trusted with your in-between. While they were moving on, believing your narrative was over, God was saying, "Not yet. I'm not done with them. I'm just getting started." You appeared defeated to men, but God was developing you. They evaluated your circumstances, but God saw your calling. They misinterpreted your stillness for stagnation, But God recognized it as strategy. You were being polished with fire. You were being taught how to pray more deeply, endure longer, trust when it made no sense, and, most importantly, become unshakable. You were not breaking down. You were breaking through. While they were counting you out, God began rewriting your story. He transformed locked doors into heavenly detours. He was replacing your anguish with strength and your bewilderment with understanding. You didn't need others to believe in you. You only needed to keep walking because God's plan for your life does not require anyone's approval. Every time they said, "That's it for them," heaven whispered, "Watch what I'm about to do." What they thought was your end is now your elevation. You are the one they didn't expect to rise, the one they overlooked, underestimated, and talked about behind closed doors. But that's exactly who God loves to use. The rejected, the misunderstood, and the dismissed. Because when He raises you up, there's no confusion about where the glory belongs. They can't say it was luck or connections. They'll have to admit that had to be God. You are living proof that it's not over when man says it's over. It's only over when God says it is. And He said, "You shall rise." He said, "I will restore the years the locusts have eaten." He said, "I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not harm you." And now, those promises are starting to materialize. So, selected one, stand tall, not proudly, but with holy assurance. You survived what was supposed to destroy you, and you are still here, stronger, smarter, and more anointed than ever before. Chapter 2. You were an underdog. They overlooked. You are now the standard. You've spent your entire life being passed over. They didn't perceive your potential. They sized you up based on your appearance, past, background, or silence. You did not wear the mask. You did not follow the crowd. And because you didn't play the game, they concluded you weren't a competitor. They categorized, judged, and misunderstood you. They misinterpreted your humility for weakness, your silence for a lack of ambition, and your patience for laziness. They didn't realize you weren't behind. You were being built. You were an underdog. You were overlooked in rooms where you should have been honored. The person whose name has been left out of conversations. The one that folks overlooked until they needed it. You gave affection and received silence. You showed up for folks who had never shown up for you. Despite everything, you maintained a pure heart. You remained grounded. You chose sincerity in a world obsessed with image. You were not loud, flamboyant, or pushy, but you were genuine. And what is genuine may be overlooked for a time, but never forever. Because the truth shines through. Real persists. What a fake cannot withstand, real survives. You were becoming something precious, whilst others were pursuing something fleeting. And now the transition has occurred. The divine reversal is occurring. The same people who doubted, ridiculed, and ignored you are now watching in disbelief. They don't understand how you are still standing, how you keep ascending. Everything that was meant to destroy you made you stronger. They do not grasp it. And that is fine, because what is going on in your life cannot be described. It can only be discerned. They witnessed your struggle but missed your power. They witnessed your pain but not your perseverance. They didn't see the secret location. The times you cried out to God while no one else noticed your tears. They didn't see the crushing, pushing, and isolating seasons that brought oil into your existence. But the oil, the anointing, is what keeps you alive. That is what elevates you. That's what makes you undeniable. You were never intended to fit in. You were born to stand out. You were born to disrupt patterns, to change atmospheres, and to demonstrate to the world that the chosen ones do not require applause to know they are accepted. You were born to create new standards, a criterion for sincerity, resilience, and divine favor. You do not compete, you create. You do not follow trends, you follow the truth. You do not seek validation. You walk through revelation. You are not merely a survivor. You are a blueprint. You are proof that God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the caller. You are what favor looks like after it has been through the fire. What grace looks like after it has been tried. What purpose appears when it refuses to die. You are a walking miracle that nobody saw coming. The same people who formerly whispered about you are now watching you stroll with authority. The people who attempted to dull your light are now blinded by how brightly you shine. But don't gloat, just glow. Don't retaliate, simply rise. Because when God separates you, it is not for vengeance, it is for revelation. Your life has become a message that claims you can't deny God's summons, a message that says underdogs can still win. When God is scripting the script, you don't seek the spotlight, but now it has found you, not because of ego, but for of advancement. You are no longer the one attempting to show your worth. You are the worth. You aren't just accepted. You are chosen. You aren't striving to fit in. You are the right fit. Fit for a new standard. Suitable for a new generation. You are the right person for a mission that only you can fulfill. Chapter 3. You endured hits that would have broken most people, yet you came back stronger. Life did not treat you well. You did not have the luxury of comfort. You were not given the answers, affection, or support that others appeared to receive without asking. You were thrust into wars you did not initiate from a young age. Fires you didn't want to walk through put you to the test. Life hit you hard emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and it often sought to crush you under the weight of it all. You've been betrayed by the individuals you trusted the most. The people you would have gone to battle for abandoned you when you needed them most. You were abandoned during your most vulnerable moments. You were overlooked when you deserved to be honored. To make matters worse, you were doubted even when you were performing admirably. Criticized while you were barely keeping yourself together. Judged by folks who had no concept what it needed to keep breathing on some days. But here's what makes you unique. You got back up. You did not let it kill you. You did not stay broken. You didn't remain bitter. You did not allow the anguish to become your identity. Yes, you did cry. Yes, you stumbled. There were evenings when you prayed through tears, unsure whether God was listening. There were days when you wondered if you'd ever experience joy again. Nonetheless, you persevered. You kept battling. Even when you were feeling empty, you continued to participate in life. And it is what makes you so strong beyond words. You possess a strength that cannot be taught. An unnatural resilience. It is spiritual. It did not come from books or pep talks. It sprung from the fire of affliction, from crying in silence when everyone thought you were all right, from walking alone while no one understood your route, from growing to rely on God because He was the only one who never left. That kind of strength does not resemble muscles. It looks like mercy. It appears that someone has been through hell and still chooses to love. It appears to be someone who has been lied to used, and broken, but continues to move forward with purpose and hope in their hearts. Every scar on your spirit symbolizes your survival. Every grief, disappointment, and failure did not wipe you away. It trained you. Pain was never meaningless. It was shaping something unbreakable in you. What was intended to bury you actually built you. What was supposed to undermine your faith ended up strengthening it. Chosen one, you are a walking miracle because you refused to let life kill you. You allowed it to shape you. You used your loss as a learning opportunity. You converted your wounds into wisdom. You did not flee from the fire. You persevered and emerged as pure as gold. You did not let the pit define you. You let it propel you. And now you move with a calm strength that baffles others. They wonder how you can still smile, stand, and be peaceful after so much anguish. They don't realize, however, that God rebuilt you. They don't know how many nights you spend on your knees. They are unaware of the conversations you had with the Most High when no one else could understand. This is not only about strength. This is divine endurance. Chapter 4 describes what happens when heaven places its hands on someone and says, "They will not break, they will rise." You were being developed silently. Now your life speaks volumes. You've spent years in the shadows, years when you felt hidden, forgotten, and invisible. You questioned your worth, your voice, and your entire purpose. You watched others rise and be honored, while you remained in the background, silent, unknown, and wondering when your turn would come. You weren't being lazy. You were not lost. You were simply in a season that made no sense to your human senses, but was magnificent in the divine universe. Something spiritual was taking place in that silence, when it felt like the world was moving on without you. What you believed was solitude was in fact consecration. You were not being penalized. You were being prepared. God had his hands on you. He was removing what was not meant to stay. He was eliminating the background noise so that you could hear his voice. He was weaning you off the desire to be seen so that when you were ultimately disclosed, you wouldn't rely on attention. You would rely on anointing. While others pursued platforms, you were being planted, rooted, and strengthened from inside. Your character was being molded in fire. Your faith grew stronger during the drought. Your discernment was being honed in the calm. God was teaching you how to walk on purpose without seeking permission, how to wield power without boasting, how to walk with grace even when you are bleeding. There were instances when you felt you were lagging behind, but God was actually setting you apart. He wasn't rushing your journey since what he was instilling in you was designed to last. Quick success fades, but divine construction is forever. And now, you've emerged from the cocoon. You now walk with a weight that cannot be created. People can feel your progress. They don't know the whole tale, but they sense a shift. They see the strength in your silence. Your eyes are peaceful, and your presence exudes authority. You don't even need to explain it. Your actions speak for themselves. You no longer want validation. You discovered your identity in the silent spot with God. That type of identity cannot be affected by opinions, trends, or status. You have grown too much to shrink. Now your life is a live message. A message that suggests you don't have to be loud to be effective. You do not need to be seen to be chosen. You do not need to rush to be relevant. Your ascension happened in the silence, and that is what makes it genuine. There is no hype or shortcuts, simply God's hand doing what only he can do, raising the ones who allowed him to create them in private. You're walking with calm strength now. not because you have something to prove, but because you have realized who you are. And that sort of confidence, that type of tranquility, is more powerful than any spotlight. Leave them wondering how you got here. Allow them to whisper about your glow-up. Chapter 5. They are shocked as they watch you, but you are only getting started. Let's get real. Some people cannot believe what is happening in your life right now. The brightness, the peace, and the gradual progress. It's as if they didn't expect it. You transitioned from being unnoticed and underrated to undeniable and unstoppable. They are stunned, perplexed, and even uncomfortable as they witness your shift, which calls into question everything they previously believed about you. And certainly, envy hides behind their eyes because you're entering a space they want to touch but can't. It's not only about the surface-level improvements they notice, the fresh opportunities, the doors that open, or the way your energy moves around the room. It goes deeper than that. You are changing in ways that shake the base of their reality. You are changing the tale they told about you, the narrative they attempted to entrap you in. Your innovation signals that the old rules no longer apply. You're functioning on a whole other frequency, one that many people will fail to understand. But choose one and pay close attention. This is only the beginning. God did not bring you through the fire only to stop you at the flames. What is happening in your life right now is the prelude to a larger story. This story will blow your head. Your success is more than just what others perceive on the surface, such as monetary gains or accolades. Your breakthrough is spiritual, emotional, and generational. It's the kind of victory that alters the course of your entire bloodline. You are becoming the blessing that your forefathers prayed for but never received. You are the curse breaker, the chain breaker, walking with the authority they could only dream of. The legacy maker who adjusts the foundation beneath you, allowing those who follow to stand taller and stronger. You are the unexpected miracle, the wild card in their stories, the inexorable force that no one can ignore. And when they stare at you in bewilderment, remember this: their shock is not your limit. It's your launch pad. Their doubt feeds your motivation. Their skepticism becomes the soundtrack for your ascent. When people whisper, "How is this possible?" let it remind you that you're breaking down walls they didn't realize existed. When they try to drag you down with their judgment or resentment, it just indicates you're on your way to something wonderful. You've already gone through the darkest valleys, braved the fiercest storms, and spent the lonely nights. You gave up comfort, security, and approval to become the person you were meant to be. The truth is that this road requires even more courage, resilience, and trust. Because what comes next will put your entire being to the test. But here's a secret. You were made for this. Every trial, every tear, and every setback prepared you for the victory you are now experiencing. So do not quit. Do not slow down. Do not even consider of looking back. Keep soaring. Continue developing. Keep shining brightly because the best is still to come. And your success will be the testimony that changes everything. This adventure is not only about you, it is about the generations that have come before you and those who will come after you. You are not just making movements, you are creating history. Your narrative serves as a beacon for those who continue to be lost in darkness, a lighthouse for the lost, a battle cry for the weary. You are living proof that transformation is possible, that suffering can give birth to power, and that destiny cannot be rejected. Chapter 6. Your presence demonstrates that purpose triumphs over pain. Each tear you shed was never in vain. Every sleepless night, every moment of doubt and sorrow, every time you wanted to give up was not in vain. Every fight has a heavenly purpose, a hidden plan. God was carefully weaving a purpose out of your sorrow, changing your suffering into strength and your trials into victories. You withstood seemingly never-ending storms. You faced conflicts that seemed difficult to win, but you never gave up, even when the weight of the world was on your shoulders. And that unwavering spirit, that refusal to give up, became the very cornerstone of the goal you now pursue. Look at where you are now. You are no longer characterized by your prior traumas or darkest moments. Instead, you are living proof that pain isn't the end. It is the beginning. You help others without even trying, healing others by just sharing your story, and inspiring others by being yourself. Your journey is a source of hope for those who feel lost and damaged. You didn't need a perfect existence or a spotless past to have an influence. All you needed to do was keep turning up, fighting, and believing. And you did just that. Your scars are no longer symbols of humiliation or failure. These are signs. Signs that miracles exist and that healing is possible. Signs that God is still in the process of transforming broken fragments into benefits for the world. Your presence, your mere being, demonstrates that purpose will always triumph over sorrow. The difficulties you encountered were never intended to break you, but rather to make you stronger, smarter, and more compassionate than ever before. Now, as you stand tall, your narrative speaks to the world. No matter how deep the pain or how dark the night, there is always a purpose waiting on the other side. So, walk courageously in your purpose. Let your life demonstrate that sorrow is not the conclusion of the story, but rather the beginning of a great new chapter. Your adventure is far from over, and the best is still to come. Remember that the agony that sought to stop you has actually defined you. You are a living miracle, destined to shine brightly in ways that only you can. And with each step, you remind the world that purpose always wins over suffering. Chapter 7. You are not merely a miracle. You are the message. Every day, your life preaches a sermon that you are unaware of. Every stride you take, every obstacle you overcome, and every scar you bear quietly speaks volumes. People are watching you. Whether you realize it or not, they wonder how you survived the darkest nights, how you remained humble when success knocked on your door, how your heart remained soft. Your spirit was peaceful even while the world around you was harsh and unforgiving. You are a message to the desperate, those who have lost their way and forgotten that hope is still possible. You are a reminder to the tired, those worn down by life's battles, who require proof that strength may emerge from weakness. You are a representation of God's grace and power acting through imperfect flesh. You symbolize the fact that the last will be first, that the rejected will be raised, and that the stone that the builders rejected can become the foundation of a new beginning. Every tear you wept, every prayer you said quietly, every time you choose faith over fear, it builds up to something bigger than you think. Your life is a testament to not just what you went through, but also what you overcome. You are living proof that miracles still happen on earth, that God works in strange ways, and that destiny is more than just survival. It is about ascending. You're not here by chance. Your presence, path, and very being are intentional. You embody divine purpose. The hardships you endured were not meant to break you, but to strengthen you. The wounds you bear are badges of honor, expressing a story of perseverance and redemption. You, the chosen one, are that miracle. Your biography, your life, and your very being convey a message to the world. A statement that reads, "No matter how dark things get, light always finds a way." A message that says, "No matter how many times you were told you wouldn't make it, you did anyway." You are a beacon blazing through the storms, guiding others to hope, courage, and faith. Your life is a living letter of strength and endurance that encourages others to believe that their own tale may change. Walk with your head held high. Speak with the confidence of someone who has been tested and proven worthy. Live with the understanding that your life is greater than your own. It's a message to people who need to know that miracles exist and that grace still reigns supreme. When uncertainty whispers lies, let your presence be the most audible assertion of truth. You were picked not only to survive, but also to light the way for others who are still searching. You are not simply a miracle, you are the message, and the world is ready to listen.